welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about how I learned and improved my English as a non-native speaker raised in Japan. When I was in my 20s, my English was just awful, really bad. Now I still make a lot of mistakes in grammar and pronunciation when I talk, but at least I'm speaking in English. I'm using the language. So in today's video, I hope my experience would encourage and motivate all of you guys to work on studying English more positively and actively. So let's jump right in. Now the first thing that I really want to tell you is that nothing is a waste of time. Some of you might have just started recently, others may have been learning for years, and perhaps many of you are thinking, am I doing okay? Yes, I had the same problem. I can imagine how you feel. To make this video more understandable, let me become more specific. Usually, I talk about practical tips or technical methods for studying English, but today I'll try to be a bit more personal to share what I actually did to improve my English. Now, allow me to talk a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Japan, went to typical public middle and high schools. To be honest, when I was at school, I didn't like studying the subject of English. Because as a kid living in Japan, I couldn't imagine how I could use this foreign language. The reason why I studied was just for exams and to avoid being dropped out. I know it shouldn't be so, but that's how it really was. I learned basics like alphabet, grammar at school, but when I started my career as a researcher, I was really struggling with spoken English. The main language in the field is English. The required level is not necessarily super high, simple English is fine, but at least we need to communicate in English, you can't avoid it. When I talked with visitors from overseas, I often needed someone who can translate my poor English into proper one. So I thought I really need to get used to natural English. Then I tried this and that, many different things, but nothing seemed to work. I was never sure if I was on the right track and always wondering, am I doing it the right way? For example, I watched foreign movies and dramas in English without subtitles and also tried to read books like Harry Potter, English version of Haruki Murakami, and scientific textbooks in English. Can you guys imagine what happened to me? Yes, I was so frustrated. Because I couldn't enjoy these contents at all, sadly I didn't understand what people are telling and talking about. At the time I was working long hours, about 15 hours a day, like from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. from Monday to Saturday, so my free time was very limited, but I wasted it. Of course, watching movies or dramas are indeed effective for people at higher levels, but that wasn't me. At the time, I was at the beginner level. One day, I attended a seminar held in English. The speaker was invited from the United States, and when I arrived at the room, seats at the back were already crowded, so I was sitting in the front row. After his lecture, we had the Q&A session, question and answer session, but we only had a few questions. That's not what the American speaker wanted. We still had time, so the speaker wanted to discuss his topic more. What happened then? Can you imagine? He asked a question to me instead, because I was in the front row. That was a nightmare. His field was different from mine, and I didn't understand his lecture held in English. Everyone in the room was looking at me, but I just froze like a statue and only said, sorry. That was really embarrassing and disappointing. I was so shocked. But now I think this kind of embarrassments and mistakes have changed my attitude towards English. Before being embarrassed, I was too optimistic. I had believed that improving English shouldn't be so hard. If I practice a bit more, it'll be okay soon. But I was wrong, as you know. It took me a few years to face the reality. Some people would say you shouldn't focus on such a negative experience, just forget about it. But I don't think so. Frustrating or embarrassing experiences will often help you be more serious about learning. Perhaps some of you guys have similar experiences, and some of you might be losing confidence in speaking English. But don't give up, always be proud of you. Negative experiences will be your gasoline, don't worry about that. That's the things I really want to tell you today. Alright, now let's talk about what I actually did to improve my English. When it comes to listening and speaking, there were mainly three things. The first one was talking to myself in English. It's super simple. When I'm at home, I just speak English to myself. For example, if I wake up with alarm, I would say, oh, is it 6 already? I'm still sleepy, but I have to get up. Or when I cook in kitchen, I would explain the steps to myself in English. like I'm chopping onions. Next, I'm stir frying onions in garlic. When I started this training, sometimes it was hard to compose English sentences in my head, even a short one like I'm washing dishes or it's sunny today. So when nothing came to mind, I always spoke English words, just saying words instead of sentences. I think that's fine because it's not an exam. The key is to link your thought or action with the English language. That's the first things I did. The second one is to write English sentences every day. Sometimes they were diary entries, other times they were to-do lists for work, and occasionally they were presentation scripts. It depends on what I need. I think the key was to do that every day. I'm basically a lazy person, so doing the same thing every day was so hard, as my free time was very limited. So I was thinking, how can I squeeze learning time into my daily life? The answer was, do it in the morning. But the problem was I wanted to sleep more, so my idea was that I should combine something I like with things I didn't like. In my case, coffee and English. I went to a cafe every day in the morning and was writing English sentences. This training really helped me organize my knowledge. Sometime before going to bed at night, I was reading aloud the sentences I wrote in the morning. I believe writing in the morning and speaking at night really work together to improve my English. That's the second thing I want to emphasize. Now the last one is shadowing. As I said before, my English skill used to be super low. So it took me a few months before I started working on shadowing. I needed to do more basics before doing that. When I tried shadowing, I started with very simple and slow audios and then gradually leveled up. I remember it was difficult to do shadowing properly, so when practicing, I recorded and checked my voice. When I first listened to my own voice, I was so shocked because it sounded terrible, but once I did it every day for a week, I simply got used to it. I think many of you guys know what shadowing is and how to practice, so in this video, I won't go into detail. If you want to know more about shadowing techniques, please check out another video after watching this one. In that video, I explain tips for improving your listening skills. Alright, I think it's time to wrap up. Today I talked about what I did to improve my English. I'm still learning and making tons of mistakes, but one thing I can say for sure is now I like this language. After learning English, I felt myself more positive about work and life. Might be a bit exaggerating, but it really opened up my perspective. So take-home message in this video is simple. Please don't give up. Is it taking years to learn English? Don't worry about it. It's normal. Alright, so if you would like to be more positive and active for learning, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, we are running an official LINE account. If you join the account as a member, you can get our member exclusive events and updates. Okay, that's it, and I'm wishing you the best of luck with your English learning, and thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon in the next my video. Bye!